So this sample intro is actually from a second semester paper. And I did that deliberately because I didn't want to use language that you might be tempted to incorporate in your first semester 250 course. So this, you'll see that this is focused on 20th century America, while you're going to be focused on 17th and 18th century America for this first paper. So the idea here is to give you a sense of the concept for the intro, not to give you language you can actually use for your intro. So you're going to notice that we've got a tension that we're introduced to, where we've got this idea of religious faith. And the first few sentences talk about religious faith. And then about 3 or 4 sentences in, right, we start talking about reason. So the tension is between religious faith and intellectual reason. Now, some students like to state the tension in the first sentence. This writer didn't do it, and it worked fine for me. But if you're more comfortable stating both terms in the first sentence, you can do that. But the main point is that you're going to look at the terms separately, that you're going to try to define one and then define the other, and ultimately kind of explore the push-pull between them. So I really like this sentence, actually, where there's this nice transition from religion to reason, right? The sense that religion wasn't enough, so people moved to reason. And then we've got an extended discussion of reason that goes several sentences in and ends up talking about technology and even the atom bomb. And then goes back to kind of how all of this was at odds with an all-powerful God. So the tension that this writer explores is between the idea of faith, a belief in God, and intellectual reason, which is linked to science and technology, which generate this horrific weapon that raises questions about the existence of a God in turn. So it's really cool the way this writer presents both terms from the tension, explains them separately, and then in cool sentences explores the interconnection. And then there's this really nice last couple sentences at the end. I'm going to see if I can scroll up for you, where he really lays out the juxtaposition. And these sentences are really nice because they pull together the contrast. They pull together the tension and help us understand that we've got two separate ideas that are actually in a relationship with each other in American culture. Now, yours, again, you want to ground yours in 17th and 18th century America, or up into early 19th, if you wish, but mostly focus on 17th and 18th century America. So your perspective on this will be different, right? These same ideas don't work exactly, although many of them transfer. You're going to take one term from your tension, explain it, take another term from your tension, explain it, and then work in your paragraph, especially at the end, how they intersect, how they either oppose each other, work together, frame, right, whatever you want to say. Ultimately, much later, after we've actually drafted the whole paper, we're going to come back to this intro and add a thesis for the paper at the end. But that is not going to happen until later. Students often want to lock into a thesis. We don't want to do that. We want to let our body paragraphs emerge separately. They could make totally different arguments, and then we'll pull it all together with an umbrella thesis at the end. So once again, our intro at this point is looking at each term from the tension and then how they collide and intersect with each other, and not worrying about a thesis now. That will happen later. Okay, hope this helps you get off to a good start on draft 1 of paper 1.